안녕하세요. 저는 샘57입니다. 제가 한국에서 가장 유명한 흑인 사람입니다.
So thanks for your time, Sam.
I look forward to the day I will be on Asian Boss.
Right.
The day is today, and I'm very honored. Thank you very much.
You're very well known in Korea, obviously. Fans here can be quite fanatical.
Yeah,
Like, how do you feel when you get mocked?
I appreciate that, and I feel like to an extent, there's always this amount of responsibility that you have to uphold.
Sure. Why do they like you so much? What do you think is your appeal?
As a Ghanaian, if a Korean came to Ghana, went to school in Ghana, studied our local language, and spoke to me, I'll be blown away.
But we have a lot of foreigners who do that here in Korea.
Right.
Why you?
That's a good question. When I first came to Korea, the first thing I heard was you look like Will Smith. Like every time Koreans see me, the first thing that comes into their mind, oh, this guy reminds me of a Hollywood actor, Will Smith. Yeah. There was an incident where I was at a shop and this Chinese lady, she came up to me. She's like, "Hey, Will, can I get a photo?"
Chinese lady
Yes,
in
a Chinese
Korea.
lady in Korea. She came in. She's like, "Hey, Will Smith, can I get a photo?" I was shocked. I was dumbfounded. I was like, "Wow!"
Right.
But I feel like because of the like they have for Will Smith, and thinking that I look like him, I feel like that like automatically translates to me as well. And of course, I'm doing entertainment. You know, they like the fact that I'm easygoing, I'm funny. That positive energy that I have, I feel like it's what Koreans really like a lot. Because if you look at the society, there's always a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. So to be able to turn on your TV set and see somebody who's like very high energy, just very positive, you can actually feed off that energy. And I feel like that is something that they really, really like about me.
You are originally from Ghana.
Yes.
How the hell do you just go from Ghana to being in Korea, arriving in Korea, living in Korea, and just become the super celebrity that you are?
You know, it's funny because these are things that you never imagine. Like I never imagined myself to be in Korea. When I was done with high school, I was at a point where the only focus was to go to University of Ghana. That was my goal. So I'll be done with university. I'll get a good job. You know, if I have a good girl, I'll get married to her. I'll raise my own family. You know, just that normal Ghanaian life. And then when I heard about this Korean government scholarship thingy, at first I was like, nah, I don't believe in that. You know, like 1 million people are gonna apply for it. The chances that I will be successful are very, very slim. My dad is like, well, you know, opportunities, they're like once in a lifetime. So when it comes, you have to take advantage of them. And you never know where this is gonna end. So at least give it a try. So I applied for it. And it took a year for them to call me back. And I got a call from the embassy. They said, "Hey, are you Samuel?" I said, "Yes." "Who are you?" So, "You were from the Korean embassy. You applied for a scholarship a year ago." I said, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, you got the scholarship." I thought that was when I really started thinking about my life. I'm like, you know, this is real. I'm about to leave my family. I'm going to start a whole new life
In Asia?
by myself in Asia, in a country where I barely know any even just a single letter of the language. But we understood that it was an opportunity that, you know, came once in a lifetime and we had to take it. So I took it and it landed me in Korea.
What do you think people's perception of you were back then? And did you have any particular struggles or any hardships that you had to go through?
I think the most interesting was when I took the subway and I realized that some of the seats were empty, but we would sit down, nobody would sit next to us. So I was asking my friend, I'm like, are these people tired of standing? He's like, well, you know, we're Africans and they're not really gonna sit next to us. And I was like, wow. I think that was my first real experience with
Almost like a subtle form of racism.
Yeah. Like it was very subtle discrimination. Like there was one time I sat in the subway and this girl sat next to me, And we're talking, and she asked me where I was from, and I said Africa, Ghana. She's like, "Oh, you look too good to be an African."
What the hell does that mean?
Hey, I know. I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" I was like, "What are Africans supposed to look like?"
Right.
But when you talk to them, some of them expect you to be smelly or smell in some type of way, look a certain type of way, talk a certain type of way. And I remember there was a time that I wanted to get a cab, and the cab driver wouldn't, he wouldn't pick me up. I was like, "What's up with that?" It's like, "I'm paying you. Why won't you pick me up?" And it was very, very shocking.
Would you say that type of practices is it still going on, or
It still goes on. I feel like with the taxi drivers, they play an important role, but they don't realize it. Because sometimes, when people come here and they don't really know the subway system or the bus, they tend to take taxis. And their first sort of communication or interaction is with the taxi driver. So when they have a very bad experience, that experience lingers on. So they play a very important role. Like, it was some of the moments I was like, wow, what am I really doing here? Like, is this how people are going to treat me? Like, I miss my family. I miss being in Ghana where everybody's treated equally. Like, what's up with this, So
how do you work through something like that, like mentally? How do you kind of, just keep moving forward?
look, it's not always going to be roses. There's going to be times people will discriminate against you and all of that. But if you want to get over it, it's important that you quickly assimilate yourself with the culture and learn the language. Once that language barrier is broken, things are going to be much smoother. So that was what I focused my mind on that I was going to do. Yeah.
Any other hardships, maybe financially?
I was in a relationship with a certain person, and she had to leave Korea. So it became a long distance. I get my bill one time, and I looked at it, and it's like almost $4,000. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm a student, I barely save enough to get me around. My first trip to Ghana, I had to borrow money from somebody.
Okay.
So I already owed somebody, and here's this 4,000 bill in my face. Like, what do I do? So I made it a point to pay all the money, and it was not easy at all because I had to use my monthly stipend to pay for that. So there are times I couldn't even pay for my rent. There are times I didn't have even just to put $1 together. It was difficult to get on the subway to make it to school, and you make it to school, you have to worry about what you're gonna eat because you have no money. Fortunately for me, I had a Korean friend, and I was like, "Hey, today I don't really have a lot of money." And he's like, "Okay, I got you." And he will go and he buys the food for me. And then I jokingly say, "Oh, wow, I made it to school. I don't know how I'm going to make it back." And he's like, "Oh, come on, Sam, I got you." Give me a little money and say, "Hey, if you don't have money tomorrow, you can have like this money and just spread it over the week." So sometimes I had to spread man over the whole week. That will cover my transportation and food. And so you spend man with just one meal or one cup of coffee. And I had to spend that in a week. So there was a month where it was really, really difficult. Like I barely had 2 cents to rub together. And I made a promise to myself that I'm never gonna come back to this condition of the situation ever again. Whatever it is, I'm just gonna push harder, I'm gonna work hard and make sure that I have enough for myself and for my family. So these tough times, they just did to build you up.
You didn't plan to be in the entertainment industry.
I studied computer science undergraduate level, and that was one of the very important lessons I learned. Do not let anybody dictate your life for you. Because prior to Korea, I had an uncle who convinced me. He said, "Look, Korea is an IT stronghold. Learn computers, learn IT." So I was like, "Okay, fine." When I got to college, I was like, "Man, I don't really want to just sit behind computers all day and do this. It's not my thing. I rather want to go out into the society and try to solve problems and do all of that." But unfortunately, the system in Korea is such that you can't change your major. So I had to go through like 4 years of struggling to keep up with something I didn't really enjoy. I wasn't really good at it, and I was struggling with it. Yeah. There was a point I really wanted to just quit the whole thing. One time I called my dad. I'm like, "I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not for me." My dad encouraged me to push him. So I realized that I needed to look for something else that was in me that I really, really wanted it to germinate. And I realized it was entertainment. So when I was in school, I joined a rap group. It was like R&B and hip hop group. And I realized that entertaining people was something that really gave me so much pleasure. So I got an opportunity to do this show called Foreign Island Teachers. That changed my life completely, because it was the first of its kind where they bring people from different places, foreigners, and we go to the remote islands in Korea and spend about a week on the island and teach English to the kids and bond with the people. And I realized that at that moment that language is really, really important in breaking barriers. And just by being here, learning the culture, learning the language, I've been able to bond with these people on a level that I would never have imagined. So at that instance, I knew it was something I wanted to do because I enjoyed it and I realized that I was able to make an impact. So I said to myself, if I really work hard at this and I get to a certain level where people are going to listen to what I say, I, as a representative of people of color in Korea, I can stretch the boundaries. Just feeling that sense of responsibility and that urge to really work and enjoy what I do, I decided I'll do it. So that show was the first one. But Hello Counselor, I would say really, brought us in the limelight in the sense that it was an episode of racism.
고향이 어디세요?
저는 아프리카 가나에서 왔고요.
가나.
한국에 온 지는 4년 반쯤 되었어요. 한국랑 뭐 지하철 탔었는데 자리 세가 세게 비었거든요.
네.
그래서 저는 뭐 앉으려고 하니까 어떤 아줌마가 못 앉게 다리를 올렸어요. 네, 왜 여기 왔냐고 그래서 욕 먹었어요 저한테.
왜 우리나라 왔냐고?
네네네네네.
참, 뭐야.
자기 나라로 돌아가라고. 예.
뭐야.
저는 한국을 좋아하는 정도 아니라 사랑하는 정도라서. 네.
That show just led to a different show, and then eventually I got a call. They said, you've been casted for Bijang Sangwada. I'm Noma Summer, and that was it.
At the time when it came out, was one of the most popular shows
Yes.
in Korea.
Yeah, within that year, it was voted the third most popular Korean TV show. Everybody knew about it. That was pretty much what shot us into the limelight. So everywhere you go, you're associated with that.
How long has it been since you've actually come outside in public like this?
Well, it might sound crazy, but I always have to come out with a mask.
저희가 지금 쌤하고 지금 인터뷰하고 있는 중인데 쌤 어디서 보셨어요?
저 비정상회담이요.
어떻게 쌤 오추리 아세요?
비정상회담 보고요.
아 근데 쌤 오추리가 왜 좋으세요?
한국말도 되게 잘하고 한국 문화에 대해서 예쁘게 얘기해서요.
아 그래요? 팬이세요?
네.
고맙습니다. 좋은 하루 되세요. 네, 좋은 하루 되세요. 고맙습니다. But it's still good to get out once in a while, interact with the fans,
I understand that the reason why I'm on TV is because the fans want me there. If they don't want me, I'm not going to get any TV gigs and go on that. So I really appreciate that a lot. And I also let them understand, look, yes, I'm the guy you see on TV, but I'm the same guy you can see at the shop. I'm the same guy you go to the market, you see me. I'll say hi to you, we can talk, So for me, it's more of building that relationship with them.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like, oh, he's a star, he's a celebrity, he's there, I'm here. No, I don't like that.
Any fun or memorable experiences you've had filming for a Korean TV show?
Real Man.
What is it, like a military training
Yes,
type
military training type,
TV show?
variety show, and it's pretty much, it's very real. A lot of people come up to me and they say, hey, is Chincheza Night real? Is Real Man real? I'm like, it's real as it gets. So it was a show where a lot of people were getting hurt so much. Like you go to the show for a week and somebody comes, somebody's limping. Somebody comes with a broken hand. There was one time I had to jump from, I think, 20 feet into the water. And you're actually supposed to land in the water with your body straight. So that's how you have to fall into the water.
Right.
But when I jumped, midway in the air, my body slanted a bit.
Oh.
So I literally just fell really hard on my balls.
You landed on your balls.
Yeah. Like I have never felt that kind of pain in my loins as much as I did that day. I thought I was dead for a second. But I could hear the officer telling me, swim, come. And I remember being so angry and cussing under my breath like this. I'm literally dying here and you're asking me to swim. It was one of the near-death experiences that I had.
I think you deserve every kind of fame that you have.
Oh man,
With
the things that
having
we've
gone
had to
through
do,
experiences like that.
I take my hats off to a lot of entertainers in Korea who do what they do. It's not an easy task at all. People think it's always easy to go into and be like, ah! Yeah, everybody's happy. Like, no, it takes more than that.
You were almost instrumental in a certain way of kind of transforming or reversing some of the negative stereotypes that people have about black people.
I knew that Koreans were, in terms of black people, they were always scared. They viewed us as dangerous. That Hollywood stereotype of black people, gangsters, probably got a gun, all those things. But I decided to go opposite of that, which is, you know, very light character, very funny, easy to approach, positive, and they really like that a lot.
Does it sometimes concern you that all this could just one day go away?
I feel like as a foreigner, your entertainment career in Korea is short-lived, unfortunately. Unless, of course, you're able to rebrand yourself in, you know, very amazing ways. It's my goal to be one of the top actors in Korea. But of course, you know, you're hindered by the fact that you always have to play a certain role. Your role is the foreigner. And trying to break out of that is really, really difficult because when they write roles, they just consider you as a foreigner. They're not looking at you as an actor who can do any kind of role that they give you. I also believe that we're at an age or time where you also have to be able to create your own, you know, you have to create your own lane. I feel like there's still a lot of opportunities for me to be able to showcase my talents to Koreans.
You're running a juice bar right
Yeah.
now, which is a very nice shop.
Thank you.
It's just interesting that you know you're actually a foreigner,
Yeah.
and you're running a
Yeah.
business in Korea. Why juice bar?
Because I feel like Koreans are trying to be more healthy, and we want to play a part in that. And I come here often, you know, I come here to interact with the people because I'm not just here to take their money. You know, I understand that I'm providing them with a service. So when I'm here, I try to interact with them as much as I can. If they want photos, I take with them. I send a lot of autographs. You know, I try to let them understand that I'm here. I'm not just the owner, but I want to bond with you people. It's about creating this special bond that we have. So I can give you healthy juice. I can entertain you as well. So you can keep coming back here. So.
Can I try some of the juice?
Of course, come on, man.
You know, having spent a long time in Korea now, what do you see as like the biggest social issue right here in Korea?
I think one of the most prominent is the fact that the young people have lost hope in the system. Because what's the point of, you know, going to school, paying all that money, coming out and not being able to get a job to be able to sustain yourself?
A lot of young people basically complain that there aren't enough opportunities. Yet here you are, a black man from Ghana,
Yes.
came to Korea with nothing,
Yeah.
with zero connections, no money, and yet still you made something out of yourself. So what can you tell to those that says that Korea has no opportunities?
I believe that if there are no opportunities, you have to create your own opportunities. You know, I created my own opportunities by making myself better and developing myself as a person. I learned Korean language, I read the culture. I believe in Korea there's this trend where people have different talents and different things they want to do, but because of the system, they have to do what everybody's doing. If you conform to what is happening, you're only going to become a victim of that environment, and you don't want to do that. The most important thing is people should not be afraid to fail. Korea has this thing where people always want to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. But in a normal world, everything is not perfect. And that is the reality people need to understand. That it's okay to fail at what you're doing. It's okay to not succeed all the time. The times that you're not successful, how you're able to pick yourself up and say, you know what, I'm still going to fight till the end. That fighting spirit is really, really important.
Well, all I can say is that after having had this chat, I can see why people love you. And I'm personally very inspired.
I feel like an African boss now. Thank you.
You're an African boss.
Thank you, man. You're an Asian boss. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate what you're doing, man. It's great. Keep it up.